Hello, Andre. Got a lot of stuff here. I made some screenshots. I've been talking to a lot of people. I got this gal that's working with me. It was really good with the colors and layout and that sort of thing. And I showed her the prototype, and she had some interesting ideas. I'm gonna have to do this really fast to get this within 10 minutes because I can't upload a video to YouTube that's longer than 10 minutes. So I made some screenshots. I put a little menu up here for the screenshots. Uh, I got rid of all the menu stuff except for menu right here and possibly search, which is over here. But when you click on the menu, it should come up with a fly down like this. So this is our menu right here. If I click on add edit paragraph, it's a lot like the prototype has. I'm going to send you a link to this, so don't worry about seeing everything here. If you add edit paragraph, add and edit paragraph are basically the same thing, and it just comes in here as an AJAX call. So it's just a div tag between the title and the legend and the actual timeline, and it's the same interface. It's just now when you're editing a paragraph and that sort of thing, you can actually see the timeline and scroll down to it and interact with it while you're working on it. I think that's a huge improvement. In the prototype with the light box, it's just you're just separating yourself from what you're dealing with. So that's how that's how she wanted to do it, and she liked the way it looked. She likes a lot of what Google's doing with AJAX and that sort of thing, and I completely agree with her. Um, uh, in the legend, it's the same thing. Uh, I have the HTML. I know you want to handle this with CSS. Legends are um, basically a legend is just some text and a graphic, and I don't think I don't if people want to put other pictures in here, that the nice thing about HTML is you can call pictures from other places on the net and that sort of thing, but that's an issue for another day. And then discuss the same interface. Also, it just goes into the AJAX call also into the div tag, same place. Notice it has a close box over here, so you can just close this sucker up anytime you want to. Um, and people can scroll and read comments and that sort of thing, and again see the timeline at the same time. Uh, then we get into the zone situation where we're dealing with zones, and let's just assume that this one has free zones. If it doesn't have any zones, then you just take this center date and add 6 months in front of it, 6 months after it, and have a default zone if there isn't any zones when somebody selects zones. So I'm going to going to go to the zone selection screen. So that would be off the menu again. But in my case for this demo, it's number 6 up here. And at that point, you would be presented with the 3 zones it has right now. And then you select a zone, and you come up with what we've been talking about with the little scroll bar. And this is how that's going to look. And what happens is you can move this thing, and it'll just go back to the server and then update the zone and then re-retrieve the timeline. And it would be nice to have lines on the timeline that corresponded to these buttons as you move them. That would be a real plus. It sounds like a lot of work to me. At any rate, you can also, as you're adjusting, also adjust the units over here. And it would be great if that could be reflected in the timeline itself. If that's too much work, we could just have it so you adjust the zone and you use the close button, and then you retrieve the timeline. So it wouldn't be real time, but real time would be so cool. And I know this is a lot of processing going back and forth to the server, but the thing of it is, is people aren't going to be adjusting zones a lot, so it's not something that happens a lot, but I want to make it really easy to do and really intuitive. This is really intuitive. A couple other things I changed. I put a center line here, a red center line. What I wanted to do was have, for each timeline, have like a box up here, possibly at the menu level up here, that would let you, if you put a checkbox in the check, if you put a check in the checkbox, it would, and notice I have another timeline under here, and if it was checked also, and they were both checked, then they both scroll with each other, centers, and they both would have a center red line that would correspond to the other timeline. So if you had 4 timelines and they are all corresponding to each other, then they would all move at the center at the red line. And then if you took a timeline and took the check off, you could move that timeline and the other timelines wouldn't move, and possibly the red line would disappear as a visual reminder that this timeline is now moving independent of itself. If that could be done, that would be very cool. Believe me. I've discussed this with a few people. I wish I could discuss it with you, but you're on the other side of the world. At any rate, that would be really cool. I also have these arrows right here that let you push the timeline up and down a stack. So if you have 4 timelines and you click a down arrow, the timeline under it would pop up on top of it, and this particular timeline would go down. So you can rearrange your timeline stack. So here, if we go on here, we go down to Teddy Roosevelt. Now I'm obviously going to send this to you. And there's if there's only 2 timelines, it wouldn't have both the arrows. It would just have a down arrow for this one and an up arrow for the bottom one. But I was too lazy to deal with that. So that's some of the design thoughts I was thinking about the latter part of last week. And I can't make this video too long, so I'm going to have to drop out and send this to you. And I'll send you a link to it. And I hope you have a great week. Talk to you later.